Brockman, quarterback, Murray State. I started playing football when I was 8 years old, second grade. Played Little League for 4 years. My dad was my coach for all 4 years. Just being in a successful program, Little League, I think we won 3 or 4 championships, and then, going to middle school, everybody runs the ball, and you're working on handoffs for the most part. But then I actually got hurt in 8th grade and had to play wide receiver, so may have helped me out in my development a little bit, just being able to take a year off. But then, in high school, we were running the spread. But there, my junior year, we tried to run the I backfield, and after a half of football, we got into the spread and said the I's not going to work. So ever since my junior year of high school, I guess it was, been in the spread system ever since, and we'll never go back, that's for sure. I didn't really have many options. Had a few smaller schools, and there wasn't many schools looking at me. A lot of local schools in Kentucky and around Kentucky. Had a school in Missouri as well, but mostly Division II and 3 schools and a few NAIA schools, but no school at this level offered me a scholarship. And my brother was playing here at the time, so chose to just stay at home and walk on and try my hand and hopefully get to play eventually. Coming in as a walk-on, not really knowing whether I'd play much, play any, or if I'd even get a chance to step on the field. I really didn't know what my expectations were. I just knew I was going to try to work as hard as I could and to hopefully one day earn some playing time and earn the respect of the coaches to put me in the game. And fortunately, that's happened, and I think it's happened a little earlier than I thought it would back my freshman year. And then, fortunate enough when Coach Hatcher came in to run the offense that he did, and put up the numbers that we put up on a weekly basis. It's a learning experience, and I think that's kind of helped me. A lot of freshmen come in and play right away, and can kind of get a little spoiled and not really appreciate the process. But I think that kind of helped me, and it helped me learn a little bit. And the guys in front of me when I was a freshman really did take me under the wing and help me and show me kind of what I needed to do now as a senior, and take some of the new guys under my wing and help them develop just like I developed. And it's crazy looking back on it now, being a walk-on, not really getting to play as a freshman, and then to now being a senior and breaking a lot of records and having a pretty successful team and turning the program around has been it's just crazy to look back on and see where we were then and where we are now and where I was then and where I was now. Playing for Coach Hatcher is great. You hear the term all the time, so-and-so's a player's coach, so-and-so's a player's coach. Well, he is the definition of a player's coach. Working with him on a daily basis, especially because he's an offensive guy, is great, and it's fortunate because his track record speaks for itself. Being able to work with Tim Couch, 15 years ago, and being his quarterback coach, and him going on to be the #1 overall pick in the draft, and then working with Dante Culpepper and some other big name players, just being able to learn from him and him coach me and teach me some of the things that those guys have done, and some other great quarterbacks as well as him. It's been an honor, and it's I've learned so much in the 3 years that I've had playing for him. Obviously you want to have success and you want to maybe eventually break records, but you can't really ever predict that. And if you'd have told me 4 years ago that I'd come in and do all this stuff, I'd have told you were crazy. My nickname is the Wild Horse. I don't really know if I guess it has stuck, but 2 years ago I didn't win the starting job coming out of camp, and so our other quarterback really wasn't mobile, and I'm not very mobile either, but my job was to go in, 4 or 5 plays a game and run for the first few games. And after one of our games, we beat Tennessee Martin, I believe. I sent him a text message and I said, "There's hundreds of wild cats, but there's only one wild horse." And for 2 or 3 weeks, I called myself the Wild Horse. Didn't think anything of it, just kind of joking around with the teammates and stuff. And 3 years later, people are calling me the Wild Horse in papers and stuff. So, I guess it's stuck, and it's a pretty fun little nickname and a pretty fun, thing to look back on 2 or 3 years ago and kind of see how far I've come. Whether it's a nickname or just on the field. Going into games, I don't know what records I'm breaking or about to break or during a game if I'm so many yards away from this or so many touchdowns away from this record. You can't concern yourself with that kind of stuff, and usually when you think about that during the game, bad things happen. I just wait till after the game when we get in the locker room and start doing interviews, and our SID comes up and tells me hey, you broke this record, and this record. That's the only time I really concern myself with it, because usually when you're worried about that on the field, bad things happen, lead to bad plays, and then you wouldn't be able to break any of the records because you're thinking about those. It means a lot more, I think, to me, being able to see those guys before me play. Stuart Childress, Justin Fuente. Didn't get a chance to see Michael Proctor or some of the older guys in the '80s, but it's really special knowing that the guys that I grew up idolizing and the guys I grew up watching and sitting in the stands playing, being able to break their records and being able to to be where they were, and have young kids like I was back then look at me, how I looked at those guys. It's really special and really neat, and to be able to play in front of the 10,000 people in the stands that I know personally, and that our family knows is really special, and it means a lot knowing that all the people there are the people that grew up watching me play high school football, and I did the same thing when I was young, coming in watching. So I'm sure it's special for the little kids. I'm sure it's special for the families and people that come watch the game, but I think it's even more special to me just being able to play in front of them. It's special knowing that I'm the only quarterback in Racer history that's earned an All-American honor. When you look at the guys that have played before me, Michael Proctor, Justin Fuente, Stuart Childress, those guys. Those guys are special. Those guys put up great numbers and came from great backgrounds and went on to do great things at Murray. But just knowing that I'm the only one that has earned honors from national publications and kind of earned respect and rewards from those national publications is really special. Only a few people can say that they walked on to a football team and then had quite a bit of success, and the success that I've had. Going from a walk-on to an All-American is something that I really pride myself on, and the fact that I've earned a scholarship and earned playing time, and I feel like I've earned the accolades and honors that I've gotten just because nothing was given to me. I wasn't put on a roster, given a scholarship, and said, all right, here you go. I had to earn that scholarship. I had to earn the recognition from my coach to be able to even step on the field. It's special knowing that there's a lot of teams that passed up on me that that we play against every year that are around my hometown that could have came and looked at me when I was playing in high school and could have offered me a scholarship, but didn't. It's nice being able to go out there and compete against them and playing with a little chip on your shoulder, especially there early in my career. When I was a sophomore, and still a lot of people didn't really know who I was and wasn't I didn't play much. Being able to look at those guys and have a little success against those teams that passed up on me, it's really nice, and it's something that I still to this day have a little chip on my shoulder about, and I'm still kind of bitter that a lot of people passed up on me when I was coming out of high school. But it's nobody's fault. That's just the recruiting process, and that's what makes all these rivals.coms and the scouts.coms. A lot of those guys don't pan out, the 5 stars and the 4 stars, and a lot of walk-ons come out of nowhere and have great careers, like J.J. Watt's having a great NFL career, and he was a walk-on at Wisconsin. It's people like that kind of motivate you and help you get through those tough times as a freshman when you're walking on, just trying to earn a travel spot, trying to earn a spot on a bus to an away game. Having those motivational stories and saying, hey, they've done it, you can do it and have success. And I think that I've kind of used that as motivation, and it's helped me have a pretty successful career, but still to this day hold a little burden and play with a little chip on your shoulder about getting snubbed by a few teams. I'd like to think I'm an elite quarterback. Obviously, with the numbers that I put up and the success that I've had in 3 years, that kind of speaks for itself. But at the same time, you've got guys from our level that have gone on and done really good things in the NFL, and you just sometimes you kind of wonder, hey, can I be that guy? And I don't know if I could be compared to Tony Romo and some guys like that are having that kind of success in the NFL, the Joe Flacco's. But I'd sure like to think I'm elite, and I'd sure like to think that I'm one of, if not the best quarterback in the country. Coach Hatcher still talks about him winning the Harlan Hill Trophy, 20 years ago, and obviously it means a lot to him. It means a lot to me winning the Walter Payton Award, just knowing following up some of the greatest players to play at our level, whether it's Tony Romo or anybody that's had great careers in the NFL, being honored to even be mentioned with those guys, much less be able to come back in 10 years and go to a banquet or something and know that I once back in the day won that award and was one of the best players in college football. The best part about being a racer is the fan support and the fact that they're going to be behind you, whether it's game 1 or game 11, and the amount of fan support we've gotten in the last 3 years, it has been phenomenal, and we've upped probably double our attendance in the last 3 years. I think that's a great sign, and that just proves the loyalty that our fans show, whatever sport it is, whether it's basketball or football. And I think that's the best part of being a racer is the people that are 80 or 90 years old that have been coming to games since they were 15, 16 years old are still coming to the games just because that's how they grew up and that's the life that they live, and they'll always be a racer, and I will too.